Hey all, we're at the Daytona for the July night race in the Xfinity series. I always do well at the play tracks, especially against the AI, but I've been struggling in the past with a right front tire degradation or tire wear situation. And when the tire wear wore down, 20 or 30 degrees more than the rest of the tires, I'd start to slip up out of the turns and it'd get all squirrely in the pack and just, it went from bad to worse. So I run full length races, so I need the thing to hold up for 40 laps, 50 laps or whatever. And so I finally figured that out at Talladega, which was a few races before this, for all the series, same fix. I don't run 8 camber on the right front. I dropped it down to 5, solved the problem. And 5 works fine. You can leave the left at 8 if you want, but I found it to be a little bit more steering control back in the pack, especially on older tires. If I'm in that situation, I endeavor not to be in that situation. See, I'm on fresh tires here because I pitted and probably nobody else did. But that's okay, because I got the fastest car on the track. I know that. I also got the fastest car over the duration at this point in this race. I know that also. And I'm really happy. So I don't have to rush my way to the front, but it's only 23 laps left. And I want to be up front before 10 laps to go, because I don't want 20 cars between me and the lead with only 10 laps, because they get more aggressive. Now, that is simply a case of the spotter not telling you you're 3 wide when you're 3 wide. If I knew I was 3 wide, because you really can't tell unless you look, and that's a tough place to take a look to the right, even for a split second, unless you plan it, if I'd have known I was 3 wide, I would have backed out, because it just doesn't work. I could have gotten wrecked very easily over there. But I have a good setup with a lot of security, and I'm like, okay. So I was just kind of trying to hold on to it, and hopefully they'll pass me, because I knew there was no one immediately behind me. If somebody's immediately behind me, that could have been a wreck very easily, especially with AI. Or, especially with humans. I don't know. One way or the other, you can choose. But anyway, so I just got to get up to the front. I still got, like 10 laps to get up there in my own personal time frame. It drafts really well. So I'm not afraid of being back in the pack at all. It gets a little squirrely when I'm up against somebody's rear bumper in a pack of cars, especially when someone's on my rear bumper. I can drive it as long as they're not dicing. Like if we're all in a line, all running the bottom, it's not a problem. See, I know I'm 3 wide here, so I backed out. You probably can't see, but there's a car up on the other side, or there was. It doesn't really matter if there is the whole time. A lot of times the AI is a little bit slow to react, so if I went in there, he probably would act like there's 3 wide and hit me, and I didn't want to do that. No point in it. And again, it's Daytona and Talladega. These are big tracks, 2.5 or 2.66 miles for Talladega. And, it takes 3/4 of a minute to get around these tracks. And that might not seem like a whole lot of time, but, most of your 1.5 miles are 30-second laps. So you got 50% more time. See, it's another situation where he might have acted like it was 3 wide. So that's 50% more time to get through. And you can make passes in the turns, on the front stretch, on the back stretch. The back stretch, you tend to get a little bit bigger runs, so you have an opportunity to pick up a little bit more ground. Now, I got drafting partner enabled, which is cool on the super speedways. Though in this situation, I'm not happy about it, because Brown is my friend, or is that Bell? Yeah, he's my friend, and when I hooked up with him, if I want to get through the pack, I want to be in the lead. And if he's my drafting partner, like say a Sadler was, he wouldn't have moved over. He would have stayed in front of me, and I have to cut to the outside. And the problem with the super speedway tracks is it still has a bias to the inside. And unless you're in a pack or have help, you're not going to be able to pass on the outside. In certain circumstances, drafting, yes, I have been able to do it coming out of 2 with a big run and be able to get in front of somebody. But that's like one car, maybe 2 cars, or if I'm already like half a car length up. But you really got to it's very, very hard to do in this version of the game. Same thing with NASCAR Heat 3. You need at least, I'd say, 2 guys behind you to be able to pull off a move like that on the outside, possibly more from some of the online racing we've been doing. And if the guys have a really strong setup, you need to be that much faster. See, here I did it here. See, that's exactly how I've been able to do it, and I cut to the inside. I'm in second place. Now, Briscoe's on older tires, and what happens sometimes is the AI kind of moves over for you, especially if they're friendly with you. If they're not friendly with you, then they might try to block you. But, he knows I'm faster, so he let me through. That's what it seems to happen in those situations. So here I made it to the front. I did that in 6 laps, 7 laps. So, I got a fast car. I'm out front. I'm in the catbird seat. I just got to keep it between the walls and not screw up. That's, the Alan Shepard prayer. Oh, please, Lord, make sure I don't fuck this up. Yep. That was the old Mercury days. As depicted in the movie The Right Stuff, one of my personal faves. But anyway, along with Scott Glenn. Anyway, so here we are. We're leading the race, and I got a fast car. They're not on my bumper. They're not ganging up on me. I've been here before. I'm determined to win. And I'm I still got some laps to go, and you see the tire wear there, so it's 10 laps is about, 8-10 laps is about 15%. So probably be down into definitely in the 70s, maybe even in the 60s on tire wear on the right side. So I want to kind of not push it so much, so I'm not all the way down on the yellow line, because I have no threats. I don't need to be running any harder than I'm running right here, and I'm mirror driving, and it takes a little practice, a little tricky through the tri-oval sometimes. So you got, and it's just like driving on the streets. You just got to know where to look and when to look and where to look. And if you get an opportunity to look, you look in the wrong spot. Don't just go look again. Take the next opportunity that's right, because too long off the road off the track at 200 miles an hour, yeah, that's a little bit different than texting somebody at 40. You get into trouble much, much, much quicker. But at the same time, I am leading. There is nobody in front of me. And yes, every once in a blue moon in mirror driving, you will blow a corner. But, if you do it enough, you blow it by, going a lane high. And if they're right on your tail, that's a big problem. But in a situation like this, if I go a lane high, that I'm not even going to notice. See, I just did that on purpose, just to see, and they got a run on me. Well, they were getting a run on me from before, and they cut down. So, yeah. So, just look where they're running. You can run out a little bit, but they'll still get a draft off you because you're in front of them. These cars put up a big wake, the way they haven't said all the series. Maybe the truck's a little bit more because they're the least aerodynamic and they cut the biggest hole in the air. So here, to pit or not to pit, 14 laps to go. I know I got the fastest cars and no threat there, so I'm like, you know what? Let's just play it out. It's on me if I can't hold it.
Are you ready? Ready. Green's out, man. Let's go.
See, a lot of times if I really want or need a win, since there's no penalty for taking tires except starting in the back, and I moved up, in 6 laps, so, I got like 13 laps to go or 12 laps. I got plenty of time. I just don't want to do it. this is how I prefer to race. Love my gearing. Yeah. Really got I got the gearing good at the super speedway tracks for Cup, but still got to figure that out. That engine winds up differently. It's got 500 more RPM red line limit, and it's different, and I can't quite figure out how. But I did manage to set a gearing at a race I ran at Kansas last night that kept up with them and got a little bit on the restarts, but nowhere near the kind of acceleration I get compared to the AI. As you saw here, and you see on a lot of my videos. I think I got Bristol figured out too in the Cup, but not all the mile and a halfs. I'm still just. I think Atlanta I do pretty good, and I'm trying to figure out why I run better at Atlanta and Bristol, but that shouldn't be enough to make basically the same gear ratios run better or worse. So I don't know. I consider it not figured out yet, and it's still something to be cracked. But anyway, I have theories, and I've been testing stuff. Just nothing works the way I want it to work, or would like it to work, if possible. So here I am in the lead. It's basically just don't wreck, keep them behind you. This is time to not let anybody get past you. Although, if in the past, if I have let somebody by me, even with a lap to go, I know I got a good enough car that it doesn't matter. See, here is even tougher. See, if I pitted the last time, it would be a no-brainer this time. But it's like, you know what? I'm committed. You know, I do not want to pit. And there should be, what, like 7 laps to go? Like, yeah. Yeah, well, missing a shift won't help. And then I checked to see I'm still moving ahead, so I didn't kill all my momentum. I just slowed it out. I was like, damn, I love my gearing. Yep, so now I clear them. Now I pull up in front of them, especially close to them, because the AI, they'll tend to back off a bit and give me a little bit more space. So that'll make one less lap where I have to worry about a charge if any is coming. Yes, I do think about all this stuff. I'm doing this probably way too long, but anyway, yeah, run the middle down. I call this my Earnhardt line. Even they all used to talk about it. You know, they knew when Earnhardt was on the track at Daytona and Talladega because he just had this big swing and arc into the turns, and I know why he did it. It's hard to do it with racing like this today, that big arc. So here I'm doing it because you lose less speed. So you don't start to lose speed until the middle of the corner. Well, that means you carry more speed off, or at least you keep them behind you in the corner better. But in like online racing, when everybody's running the bottom, I haven't seen a situation where that would be needed or necessary. It's what I've been doing forever, and I do prefer it. This down on the bottom stuff just kills me, but that's the track bias. Yes, physically, a shorter, distance around is going to be faster, but, cars can't stick to the bottom the whole race. I mean, you watch racing today, they get 20, 30 laps in, and they're for the most part, at least at one end, they're a groove higher. The whole pack's running higher. They're all running, too wide up next to the wall instead of too wide on the bottom, or too wide through the middle. Talladega, it's wider. See, look at this. I have no competition. I'm down on the bottom because he's high. I probably have to go up and put a block on him. So, I'm watching the mirror. It's funny. I'm sitting here watching the video. I have my wheel and pedal set up, and I just absentmindedly put my foot on the gas, and I'm holding it down. It's like, what the hell are you doing, man? It's just, I love racing. I love plate racing But like I said, I prefer, you know, the older style a bit better. But you know, it's like Pandora's box. Once you make certain choices, it's really hard to go backwards. So don't go backwards, go forwards. You always want to be moving forwards. And if you're at the front, you always want to be up there and stay there if possible. So see, it's near the end of the race. I throw my leaderboard up just to see who I'm racing. See, Ray Black Jr. doesn't have I don't believe he has a 5-star car. So that's probably why he's further back than me. That's another thing I noticed about the AI races, especially in career, is you get all the back markers up front. You know, like Kaz Grala and Justin Haley have good cars, but Balicki, I know that's a 3-star team, and I think Ray Black Jr. I think that's I'm not sure. I don't forget who he's running for, but I don't think that's a 5-star team. The 01, yeah, I think that's a 4-star team. And they're up front, so you know they don't have the engine I have. I just gotta, you know, stay in front. We got like one lap to go now, so I'm not really too worried. But you know, for the sake of the game and fun and stuff, by this time of the race, usually you know, like they used to say, the cream rises to the top. Usually, you know, all the best teams have got at least one car, you know, in the top 10, top 5. Now Justin Haley's up there, and Kaz Grala is working for a good team, and he's a good driver, and he deserves to be behind me. That's not a problem. But most of the race, you know, see Chase Briscoe is there, and he's a rookie, but he's also good at play track. So it's cool that he's there, but oftentimes you're racing 3- and 4-star cars at the front, and all the series in the play tracks. And it's 105 first. Yes, so I got my first goal win, personal goal win of the weekend. I got the pole for this race. That's right, it's my first restrictor plate or super speedway pole, and that's thanks to Red 4424 taking his setup and modifying it a bit for me, and sitting on the pole. He's got an awesome plate setup, you know. I think in the last plate race I had, I was 6th. You know, you're talking hundredths of a second, so you know it's hard to run a perfect lap every single time. It's easy to get close after you've done it 1,000 times. But it's hard to run that, just hit everything perfect. But I wanted that pole badly. So up front, always on the inside in the AI races, and online too. You know, it's almost like if you're on the outside, you're hung out. Especially when there's only, you know, like half a dozen cars in. You know, stay in a line, bide your time. Hopefully the guy in front of you will mess up, or they'll wreck. I know it's you know, it's super speedway racing. It's not what it used to be. Oh, nice air. But we all got to deal with it. And I deal with it the best I can. So I stick to the inside. I bide my time. I know I got a good car, so I don't have to rush. I know about how long it'll take me. That's that bump. Oh, see, we're 4 wide. You know, no wonder he's... But it'd be nice to know it before you get yourself into that situation. See, spotters today are like, you know, the 14 cars coming up on you on the outside. He's got help. You know, I know it's like impossible to do until they improve artificial intelligence in general, not just the algorithm-based AI, but the actual, I'm talking about the thinking AI that's in the news lately, which is what real AI is. We call these things AI because they're programmed, you know, in like old car computers. If certain situations occur, then do this. It's the old programmers, if then, you know, programming. If this happens, then do this. And, you know, and that's what we're dealing with, which is very simplistic. If you have a gazillion algorithms, it can mimic real life fairly well, but not completely. You know, nothing can completely do that. But artificial intelligence, the real stuff, is supposed to, you know, that's its goal, is to deal with a computer in a way you would a human and not know the difference. Well, you know, I'm waiting for it. Even C-3PO, you know, he's a robot, right? I mean, you know, you do know that, right? Yeah. So we'll see. But there definitely can be improvements. It's just at what cost? Because you have tons of lines of code for the graphics. You have tons of lines of code for what they're already giving you. To have individual driver profiles is tough. And I can see that they probably group them for ease. You know, aggressive, passive, slow, mid-pack, you know, and they randomize it because, you know, you'll get your tail draggers, you know, up front, and, you know, certain races or tracks and stuff. And you get your good guys in the back, and then there's, you know, the random wrecking and etc., etc., etc. And it does a great job overall in simulating, you know, what happens during a race, but it's far from perfect, because, you know, you never know. And if you don't, you know, you don't really understand what I'm talking about, just run one online race, and you'll see the difference. Because who can predict what happens in an online race? You know, whereas I'm running through the pack here is like, I know, I can tell by how the cars are moving what the, you know, this guy's going to come low, this guy will probably stay high, this guy, you know, whatever. And it becomes easier over time, at least for somebody like me. You know, I tend to pick up on patterns. I led 79 laps. Yeah, see, when I go to the super speedways now, at all three series, it's, you know, it's mine to lose, because I got the setup. I just got to keep my head on my shoulders. And I'll tell you, because I don't have a video for it, I'm not going to have a video, but I was racing at Talladega in my single season championship, 50% length times 2 wear, and I made a mistake. I don't do it too often, and usually it's spectacular. This wasn't spectacular, but coming to the line in turn 4, I somehow let the car slip up in the lead. And was I in the lead or was I second? Yeah, but I let it slip up, and I shouldn't have done that, because I let it slip up the turn before. I must have been tired or something, and I was so pissed. But I got freight trained back to 10th, and I managed only to get back to 6th, but I still finished 6th. You know, 6th at a play track is like a win, you know, because it's so random, and you really got to be as near perfect as you can. Not perfect, you know, but near perfect. You got to be there, you know, you got to be in the top 1%, you know, the whole race. And to be 0 or 100%, but 99.9, you know, like most of the race. Not making mistakes, getting on pit road if you have a green flag pit stop, knowing when to pit, knowing when not to pit. You know, you got to go through all that. Okay, it's the end of another vid. Thank you all once again, and hit like, subscribe, and keep on rolling.